Hello my friends, and welcome back to another watercolor tutorial. Today we are painting a stormy field scene. So I have my piece of paper in portrait position, although you can definitely paint this in landscape if you prefer. I've taped the borders just to ensure clean borders, and so that paint doesn't get on the other side of the paper, because that's what I find causes buckling. So that's what I've chosen to do. I have taken a mop brush and I'm just covering my piece of paper with a layer of water. And I find it interesting that I haven't really done this like a wet on wet style in a really long time, and I think this is the third one in a row, or at least it feels like it. Now I'm gonna see how far I can get with this. I'm being really risky here because with wet on wet, you can't really pause the painting and come back to it later. Well, for obvious reasons. The paint dries and then you can't continue mixing colors and doing what you need to do. And I have a delivery for soil scheduled, and all they told me was around noon, and it's now like 12:20 and they're still not here. So let's hope that everything goes to plan and that I'm not at like a critical moment when the truck arrives. So I'm taking some lime green and applying it on the bottom half of my painting. And then I'm going to take some darker green. I'm going to make it. So I'm taking just a bunch of greens and adding black. So it's funny, when I had this new setup like a month or two ago. Oh, that is my husband. Hi baby, I'm in the middle of a painting tutorial. I think we're okay with potatoes, but we need apples, bananas, clementines. Okay. Love you, bye. Okay, so I've taken that mixture of green and black and I'm applying it on the bottom here. And I'm also gonna add some random patches of this color. Maybe like, so this is supposed to be shadows in the grass. I'm not really sure how else to describe it. Maybe it's just adding depth to the grass. I don't know. What I do doesn't always make 100% sense, but it usually ends up looking not too shabby in the end. So just trust the process of not knowing what we're doing. Now, I need to add more, what's the word I'm looking for? Warmth, I think, to this painting. More of a warm green, because right now it's lime green and then just this like dark concoction. So let's add some warmth to this. So I'm kind of just picking and choosing where I'm dropping that warmer green. I'm not putting it everywhere. And I'm hoping that it'll just naturally spread out, but I don't know. I haven't had very much luck with that in the past. I usually have to assist it in spreading out. And you know how we can sort of do that is just pick up the lime green again, or not even the lime green, just put like rinse your brush, paper towel, and then pick up some paint, and at the same time you're sort of blending. Also, the paint is drying faster than I can handle things, so I have to re-wet it, which the top doesn't matter because there's nothing there, but as soon as you start getting into, see, that's what I was afraid of, that, exactly. Okay, I'm not gonna go any further, although I have pooling going on here, so let me just even out that spread. And this tape is popping up. Ah, disaster. This is not even nearly dark enough, not even close to the darkness level I need. So let me drop some more black. I just picked up black this time. I'm not mixing any green into it. Maybe, we'll see. Because I really want that darkness, and I know as soon as this dries, it's not going to be that at all. I'm working against a few things here. My toddler hasn't been napping very long. It's usually 30 minutes to an hour. So I'm working against that, and I'm working against this truck that is supposed to arrive. But I don't have any other time to do it, because in the evening, if you're a mom, then maybe you can relate, or I'm just really weak. But in the evening, I am so tired from the day that all I want to do is sit on the couch and not do anything productive. It takes a lot out of me to get up and do anything. So anyway, I've taken black here. I don't know if I like that. This is supposed to be our horizon, right? So I didn't want it to blend in with the green. I wanted it to kind of stand alone, and I think we'll just have to go back when it dries and make it darker. We'll see. Right now I want to focus on the top, which is drying on me again. So I'm going to take my mop brush again and just add a quick swipe, and then touch that up quickly. Okay. Okay, so this part I don't really know what I'm doing, because it's a like moody dark sky, and I just don't know how to create that. And on top of that, I have this thing, this history. If you watch my videos often, then perhaps you recall me saying this in some videos. But my green and my blues stay on my brush. So when I want to go and choose a different color, like the blue or the green, after using the blue or the green, it's just a disaster. So I've taken like a lighter blue here, and I don't want to quite go all the way to the horizon, so I'm kind of spacing it a little bit. And then I'm taking a less intense blue. I don't know how else to describe it. It's more like grayish. Oops, that is the wrong blue. And I'm popping that at the top and also kind of on the side. I want to add a little bit of pink in there, like a very subtle pink. Now it's kind of turning into a very wet swamp, which is not what I'm going for. Okay, I got to work quickly here. What kind of blue is this? No. We're gonna pick up navy blue, or if you don't have navy blue, just take blue and add black to it. And I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Maybe take that original, scrap the navy blue for a moment, go to the original grayish blue that we used up top here. And that's what I'm gonna use to, oh my gosh, I hear a truck. We live on a private road, but it's very close to a like country road, and that country road is on a hill. And so when cars drive up it, or especially trucks, you can really hear because they're going uphill. And sometimes it's hard to distinguish between a car that's going up this hill and a car that's on our private road because they're right beside one another. And so I'm a little nervous. Oh, you know what? Sorry for jumping. Story of my life. But I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video, I think I'll just do a voiceover and add it at the beginning of this video because some people don't, they kind of skip through steps and they don't maybe hear everything that I say in a video. I made a membership on YouTube finally. So please go join it. It's exactly what I said it was going to be in a poll a few months ago when I asked if I made a $15 membership for 2 extra tutorials a month, would you join? And I had like 87 votes and 17 of you said yes. So where are the 17 of you who said that they would join my membership? Because that's exactly what it is. In addition to the 2 extra tutorials every month, there will be more personal discussions. I'll take a lot more requests from you guys. And also like content that isn't necessarily related to watercolor, because I know that some of you have expressed that you want to hear about like my sourdough or my gardening, or you want to see pictures of how things look in our forest, and that is where I will share those things. So I'll see you there. So yeah, I just keep taking more of this navy blue and dropping it. I don't know why this is not looking as stormy as I wanted it to look. I really wanted this really dark, stormy vibe, and I'm not getting that. Maybe I just need to use black to really darken things. Make it very stormy looking. I know it's starting to look a little more abstract, and that wasn't my intention. I'm just not the best at clouds. I don't know, sometimes it works out, a lot of the time it doesn't. It really does help. I've said this in a previous tutorial, but now I film in our office, and there's a huge window that faces the driveway, so I can just turn my head and look to see who's there or who's driving by or whatnot. It's so helpful because in our previous house, I had to, I filmed in the bathroom, and it was it was a tiny house, but I still had to run to the bedroom to check if anyone was coming or if I was waiting for someone. So this is definitely an improvement compared to that. I'm gonna take a little bit of white watercolor and drop that to maybe make it look more cloudy, like clouds. That's what I want to say. Because right now, they would pass as clouds, but it's missing this sort of soft pillow highlight appearance that usually clouds possess. I don't know how I feel about this. This might just be out of my wheelhouse, honestly. Beyond my expertise, if I even have expertise. I'm not sure what else to do about they just don't look like clouds to me. But maybe when it dries it will. Maybe when it dries we can take some white acrylic paint and spruce things up a little bit. So I'm gonna stop messing with that for now. We can go back and we can fix things hopefully afterwards if necessary. For now, I'm gonna jump back to our horizon line and take black with green, and to be really mindful that I stay in the frame. In like 2 tutorials ago, I think, something like that, it's just, I'm still getting used to this setup, right? So unfortunately my painting went out of frame. It, like, the part that I was painting you could still see, but the full painting was not in the frame. So somebody just wrote a comment that said, "You are out of frame, Julia." Just very matter of fact. And it made me chuckle. But I did say in that painting, I'm like, oh no, like at the end, I noticed that I think I was out of frame. And so I did say, whoops. That was obviously not intentional. But so now I'm trying to be extra mindful that I am in the frame. It's just so hard. Kind of trying to keep everything in mind. Still very much getting used to the new setup. Okay, I really wish I had more pink back here. That would have been a really nice contrast, but hindsight, right? So I need to make this part look way more grassy, if you will. I just don't know how to do it. How do I make it look grassy without actually painting like a bunch of brush strokes like this? We could mop brush this again with just water. I'm gonna try that. I might regret this because we're what, 18 minutes into this? Boop, boop, and boop. I intentionally touched the horizon there because I wanted a little bit of fading into the painting. Oh no, is that the truck? Very bad timing if that's the truck. Okay, so because it's wet, if I go like this a bunch of times, if I make any mistakes or they look really bad, the grass will sort of fade. So that's the intention here. I'm just adding grassy strands. Kind of focusing on the darker clusters. My heart is beating so hard right now because I know my time is so limited by so many factors. Oops, I guess that was not as wet as I thought, so I might not do any grassy strands there. And the key thing here is that your paper is not soaked, because then your brush strokes will just turn into blobs. Ask me how I know. And you also want the actual pigment that's on your paintbrush to not be saturated with water, but just very highly pigmented and little water, if that makes sense. So that is definitely more of the look that I was going for, so I'm glad we took that risk. I'm going to take another risk by taking that same darker color and just adding a little more black because it really fades, eh, when it dries. You know what we could do? This is another risk. I have this neon green. I don't know. I'm gonna see. Because if we add, maybe the neon green isn't what I want. Maybe it's like still a bright green, but more limey. Because what I'm trying to create is more obvious grass strands that separate the darkness rather than painting dark grass strands, if you know what I mean. So I just have this like metallic lime. It definitely doesn't need to be metallic. In fact, I could have probably used the same lime color that I used for the background here. But that's the first color I spotted. So I was like, yep, that's what I'm gonna try. I really need to experiment with these metallic colors more because they're beautiful. They're so pigmented. I love using them for details and highlights in paintings, but I really need to give them a solid go. Also, the other thing is we're supposed to get like quite a bit of rain and thunderstorms starting now. So the more that they take, the longer they take to get here, the more chance that I'm gonna have to deal with this compost in the rain. And then my daughter's gonna wake up and it's just gonna be a whole ordeal. Okay, so where are we at with this? Happy we did the thing with the grass. The sky has largely dried, and you know what? It doesn't look too bad. I'm actually not too dissatisfied with it, but I do want to see if we can spruce it up even more. So I'm going to take white watercolor. It's still like the tiniest bit wet. So what I'm doing right now is really probably not what I should be doing because it's going to cauliflower. You know what? Yeah, it's going to cauliflower if I try to paint on top of this. So I'm going to actually blow dry this first. Okay, I just thought of this as I was blow drying because you can sort of see these little lines coming down vertically or at a diagonal. It would have been so cool if I had sun rays coming down, and I've done this in a previous tutorial where I forgot to add those sun rays, and then after the fact I went in and just lifted off paint. So I'm going to try to do that. So all I'm doing is I have a wet paintbrush that I keep dipping into water. Then I rinse it. I sort of tap it on a paper towel so there isn't too much water. And then I just go over the painting a few times. Now, I like to go from the bottom to the top to finish off so that there isn't this blue streak that I'm pulling all the way down. How do we like that? Do we like that? I'm not sure. I think, oh, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Let me know what you guys think, because from just looking at it now, I'm not too happy with it, but can't do anything. So, I'm gonna take another risk here, and I'm gonna take some acrylic paint and see if I can dramatize these clouds a little bit. So I'm taking that white acrylic paint and I'm being careful to not make it look too opaque, which is not hard because I have very cheap dollar store quality acrylic paint. So I just kind of spread it around. I'm plopping it on top of the lightest part of my cloud. Or at least I'm trying to. I'm just adding some white tips to these clouds. Now, something I'm considering with my membership only part of YouTube is doing live tutorials, because then I can ask for your feedback live, because oftentimes it's so hard to really get an objective view of something when you're looking right at it on your own. I have to stop myself from wanting to splatter, like do like a starry night sky with this, because obviously it doesn't make sense to add white stars everywhere, but I'm always so tempted to do that in sky, like in darker sky paintings. I'm just seeing, I know I said that you put it on the lightest part of your cloud, which I did up here, but I am experimenting here. I'm not very good at clouds, as I've said a few times. So I really got to practice and try different things, try different techniques, which I know is a little bit risky in a tutorial. Okay. I think before I continue just plopping more and more acrylic paint down, I'm going to just work on the horizon really quickly in case this truck shows up. I will have kind of done everything I want to do in this painting, and everything else is just extra. So, oops, I just stuck my finger in the acrylic paint. So that was probably not the best position for the acrylic paint. So naturally this dried again to be much lighter. The horizon did. So I'm going over it once more with black, mostly black. There's a little green in there. And I'm not gonna like try to do exactly the same silhouette as before. I'm gonna go a little bit lower, maybe overlap some sections. Okay, so happy with the horizon. What on earth can I still add to this? I'm gonna do what I did in a fairly recent tutorial. If I can't add speckles to the sky, then I will add speckles to the grass and make it look like there's just a bunch of fairy flowers growing. So definitely this neon yellow. It is definitely the highlight of the show. And now I have to get some neon green. Actually, I don't think I like the neon green. Get some magenta. And then it just looks like there's wildflowers growing. I don't want to overwhelm it, so I'm gonna stop there with the wildflowers, because I just want it to be a nice little accent. Okay, it's not a truck that I've been hearing, guys, it's thunder. So the thunder is starting, which is really unfortunate timing. Come on, buddy, you're supposed to be here 1 hour ago. It's already 1 p.m. I'm adding just like 3 dots beside one another to accentuate some of the flowers. Oh, I hope they don't cancel now because of the weather. That would be really, that wouldn't be good for our planning. Anyway, I'm doing the same thing with the neon yellow as I did with the pink, where I'm kind of doing 3 dots beside one another. And I'm going to take a little bit of black because unfortunately I got some speckles on my horizon. Okay, I could keep going with these clouds because there's something off with them, but I just don't know what. So I'm not going to just keep plopping on paint and hoping for the best. I'm just going to leave it at that and peel the tape off because I'm okay with it. I'm okay with this. I can't reuse this tape anymore. This is like the 3rd or 4th time I reuse this tape. Okay. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you can swing it, totally, please consider joining my membership, because my views, not my views necessarily, but just my earnings on general YouTube have gone down substantially. I don't know what it is due to, but the membership would definitely help out and help me to keep making these tutorials. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.